welcome to another episode. We have a guest, an unknown guest at best, that discovered us on social media. That's a first.
It's crazy because you don't have any, like, the pod has no common friend with her. Like,
Yeah.
that's how, like,
She's a total stranger.
yeah, literally.
She could be a terrorist right now.
So you know what you're walking into? Is that what's happening?
I am. I see it. Pardon?
Did you listen to at least one pod?
I did actually listen
Which one? I
to
need to
no,
know.
but it was more like I was listening to your segments.
The clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't actually listen to a full episode.
They're
I was
misleading those clips. They're misleading. It comes from a mastermind.
I just like to. We have Phil. Poor guy is getting the shits on the social media right now. He
You
was
need a hug, Phil?
Phil, little Italian Phil.
Short Phil.
All this because he was talking about his fasting, and he's kind of, bulky, and he works in construction. And he literally just said, I've been fasting. It doesn't really show, right? And he pretty much said that. That was the clip. And somebody came at him, was like, oh, you're fat phobic. And you're saying that, not eating is supposed to make you skinny, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
Sensitive. People are sensitive.
Shout out to Aisha.
We know her.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do I introduce you? The only thing I really know about you is you're an artist.
Yeah.
Is that your
Okay.
full-time job?
Yeah, it is my full-time job, and I'm also a writer. So I write books. So I'm publishing my second book in like 2 weeks, not even, on November 5th.
What's the
Yeah.
title? What's it about? We want
Like,
details. What was the first one about too?
Okay, so the first book was about walking 750 kilometers. So I walked the Camino of Santiago.
Sorry. You've walked this.
Yeah.
This seven,
It's
did
a
I
bio.
get this right?
It's a bio.
700 in what? In like a day? In like
No,
days, impossible.
in like 30 days, roughly. So a bit less than a month.
And you had me complaining that I'm sore during this time. Come on. Okay. In a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Wait, why?
The reason why is because when I was younger, that's actually a good question. When I was younger, I got sick and I couldn't walk for a really long time.
The Terry
where-
Fox story.
I don't even know Terry Fox.
What?
She's 21.
No. He's
I've heard
Canadian
his name.
too.
I've heard his name, but
He
I
walked from east to west coast of
Oh
Canada.
yes, of course, but no. Well, yeah, it is.
And because
But
I
if-
think he lost a leg, him.
Yeah, he had
Okay.
All right. Wow, you didn't know that?
No.
Okay. Continue your story. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. And so I was really sick, so I was kind of in and out of the hospitals, and like certain days I just could not get out of bed at all. And so my mom had to shower me or bring me different places, and going outside kind of just became a privilege of like, oh, like, can I just go outside? Well, it depended. So when I started getting a lot healthier through, well, essentially art, and that's how I pursued my career in art, I decided I was going to walk 750 kilometers, the pilgrimage of Santiago de Compostela, from Lisbon to Santiago, and then Santiago to Finisterre. Finisterre is the city that was thought to be the end of the world before we discovered America. So I wanted to arrive there, essentially.
As a new awakening, is that what it is? So it was like a rebirth for you.
To be honest, no. Like, I did not know what to expect. I just bought a one-way ticket to Lisbon, and then I was like, I'm gonna go and walk. But I had really like no idea what I was actually doing. Like, I got to Lisbon, and I was like, I need to follow a yellow arrow. That's all I knew. Like,
I have so many questions.
I don't even know where to.
So let's start from
How did you work? Where did that work? Like how
No,
did you
before
do
we get to that, I need to know first, what sickness did you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with that.
So essentially, a lot of sickness, what I've come to understand is it often comes from like pent up emotional baggage. And what happened to me is essentially, there's no title to it. It's just, I was oppressing so many emotions and so many traumas that my body physically shut down.
How old were you?
I was 14.
What are you, the reincarnation of Jesus? Well, like, how much? Okay, again, I do not know your past, but if you were suppressing, that means consciously or unconsciously?
Well, unconsciously is essentially what you're not processing.
Okay. So if not necessarily, you're not aware of it, or you're just putting it on the side and you just choose not to look at it. Medically speaking, you can know you have issues, but you
Yeah.
can put them on the side voluntarily and focus on other things. It's all about focus when it comes to these traumas in a way. There's certain traumas that we have, like mentally, sometimes we have tendency of forgetting purposely, where it's so bad we don't want to think about them. So we
Isn't that called repress?
Yeah.
yeah, but it's repressed because there's different types of repressing.
There's that one that you are acknowledging.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you're talking about. That's not you're not suppressing your feelings at this point. You're choosing not to deal with it. Suppressed is you're living through a trauma, or that you're not even aware that you're going through, or that you haven't processed it yet. You completely forget.
So once you
that
find out
emotic-
what is that trauma,
When you
how?
find out, it's being able to understand the root cause of it. It's essentially understanding how do you actually release what is coming through you. So what happened to me is just it was coming to me when you're really young. You're you're a product of your environment, and essentially what people tell you what love looks like comes with projection of their own traumas and difficulties.
that's
and
nurture
things
versus
that,
nature.
Exactly. And so at one point it's coming back to what is nature. And I was nurtured in a way. I grew up in a very loving place and everything like that, but I still had a lot of difficulties when I was younger. And I've also, I don't know if you guys believe in like reincarnation.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I must
right.
adjust. Hold on. Okay, continue.
We're jumping into the rabbit hole right now. So wait, I need to know first.
Yes.
What's your background? What's your nationality?
I'm Canadian.
Canadian Quebecer or
Quebecer. Yeah.
Quebecois?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're Catholic,
And no.
but you were born.
No, my parents are not religious.
No.
I'm not baptized. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a child of the wild. Is that it? No, because I'm trying to establish where your beliefs came from. So it wasn't from family.
Actually, no one in my family. All my family is atheist.
Okay.
I actually am just like, since I've been very young, I've been very connected. So I would meet people and I could tell things about like their grandparents or just random facts, or they would come to me and I would know things about them specifically.
So you have a superpower.
You're
I
a
wouldn't
witch.
call it.
I call it a super. Yeah, I don't want to go to witch. Come on now,
But there's
okay.
good witches. Wizard of Oz.
I
The
never
white
said
witch
it was
and the black
bad
witch.
or good, but like, okay, you have these feelings.
Yeah, essentially it's just like through.
Cute.
No, but
I'm being honest. What do you mean?
We all have feelings, okay?
no, but
It's a gut
something
feeling.
that everyone. Yeah, but everything essentially comes back to when you're present. An answer doesn't lie in pattern of recognition, because essentially if I say hello to you, you say hello to me, it's kind of just like something in our culture, courtesy. It's just normal. But if essentially you're in another country, you're going to use another word, like salam alaikum, if you're in an Arabic country or whatever, the greeting will be different. And so essentially it's the energy that comes with the greeting that essentially gives it its meaning. So it's saying like, I'm acknowledging you. And so if somebody's feeling sad, they could be, this is an example I give often. Example, somebody's actually scratching themselves. We can assume automatically like, oh, this person is itchy, right? But essentially this person might be stressed. So it's only in that moment when we're in that environment that we can actually feel the energy that this person is giving off to know kind of why is this coming to be? Why are they?
Or you could ask.
Yeah, or
Is your arm
you
itchy?
can
Is it
ask.
itchy, right? Like,
No,
Instead of assuming.
that's very good, but okay.
but I mean more in the sense that you know what, like more towards which direction to
Right.
kind of direct the conversation or the emotion or how people are essentially in what state they are. So it's more so when we're present, we're actually capable of tapping into the communication that lies under the five senses that are what we are taught to kind of communicate and exchange with.
So that's what you've developed, or
No, she
that you're
developed the
aware of
sixth
it?
sense, if I do understand this
Well,
properly.
it's not something that it's just everyone has it.
Yeah, but some people
Yeah.
are aware of it and other people are not.
Yeah,
So
everybody
you're
can
aware
jump,
of
but
it,
some people
right.
jump higher than others
Yeah.
because they practice or they're naturally gifted.
Yeah.
Right?
Have longer
So in
legs.
your case, which
Or
one
longer
is it?
legs, right? You can say that now. It's okay.
yeah.
She's right. Or longer legs, right? They're jumping.
That would
the-
technically, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the ups, but okay, fair enough. I'm a basketball coach. I don't care how long your legs is. I want to see how high you
The
go.
vertical.
We've lost
Exactly.
track of the point.
Well, let's get back to this. So did this enlightenment come after the walk or before the walk? You had a dream. You saw.
Before the walk, so it's something that I've had since I'm like a child, like since I'm very very young, and my parents were kind of like, oh, like that's not really a thing, like kind of like what is going on. And then at one point when I got sick, my mom, like one of her friends referred her to this woman. And
They're always a
referred
woman.
me,
They're
yeah,
like-
they referred
like-
me to a woman. So I went to see this
Was
woman.
she old and Egyptian? And
Indigenous, please. Let's be Canadian.
She's from Saint-Anne-des-Plaines, like
Okay.
born and raised.
Is it that you were going through an awakening? Is that what it is? Like,
Not necessarily. I was just like extremely tired, so I could barely move. So that was like before, like when I was really sick. And she met me, and she just like took a step back. Like the second she saw me, and she did not know who I was. She looked at me and she's like, "There's so many people with you," and she was like, "They're just consuming your energy."
And you're still 14.
I'm 14. Yeah, at that point, I'm 15 at that point.
Well,
But
not
yeah.
an adult yet.
Yeah, no, not an adult. And from there, she started talking to me about many like energies that I had like coming into my life. And she was just describing them, explaining how they were presenting, where I could feel them. And I was like, actually, this is the first time I feel like I'm being seen through that, because it's not something that we talk about on a daily basis when we meet people and being like, yeah, like I sense a lot of energies. People are like, okay. And they're going to turn
she knows how to react.
around. So essentially,
This woman was a medium?
yeah, this
Okay.
woman is a medium. So she was the first person that was actually telling me like, oh, I see these people and I feel them and I'm with you on this. And like, we can talk about it together. And for the first time I was like, it's not whether or not it's true or not, it's whether or not I feel it or not.
Right.
And that's really how it came to me afterwards. And since then, like I've blocked it out of my life. I brought it back into my life, like feeling people and feeling their energies and feeling beyond that. And eventually COVID hit,
Right.
and I was like, I had really stopped like connecting with my spirituality because I didn't realize that essentially it's a gift. I was just like, well, now I'm just always tired.
That's the word I was looking for. Gift instead of superpower. Just thought you should know. Okay. Okay.
And so finally, I was like, I want to get back into that and I want to actually prioritize my health. So after high school, I took a gap year, and that was during COVID. And I started meditating 4 to 6 hours a day. And I was really like focusing on my art and just like expressing myself and actually feeling my body and like listening to my body, which is something that we don't actually stop and do. We think about like, oh, I'm sore, but do we actually feel the fact that we're
Yes.
sore?
Yes. I feel it. Yes. 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 Okay.
And so we often wait until we feel the energy that it jumps to our mind. But before that, we don't think about feeling our bodies and what it's processing, because it's like, oh, well, it's not really like my priority right now.
And it should be your priority?
Well, I think that listening to your body is essentially being able to kind of show up with yourself and being able to kind of listen to where you're at, because it is part of you. Your mind is always in communication with your body. They're kind of always working together. So if your body is feeling a certain way, it's because your mind is maybe just oppressing the cause. So it's going to present itself in a physical form. And
But isn't mind over body? Isn't it that my mind
I
is going to tell
thought
my
that.
body
I
is going
thought
to tell me
that.
what to do? Like,
I thought that until I realized that there is an extent to that, and that at the end of the day, like I walked the Camino, and when I started, I had a broken rib. I had an 18-kilo backpack, and I was walking 45 kilometers a day. And I had a broken rib, and I had my backpack on my rib, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. And I just kept going. And at one point, and I was still running, still going to the gym with a broken rib. And then at one point, I had been doing that for years, where it was like working out 4 hours a day, every day, and just like never stopping. After I was sick, I was like, I never want to stop. And then every time I would get something, just I'd get injured, and I was like, oh, I'll just brush it off. It'll pass. And when I was walking my Camino, my knee exploded in the middle of nowhere, and it was hurting so much. And I was like, I need to keep walking. I had 10 kilometers till the next village. I had no water, and I was in the middle of nowhere.
Why you always have to be to that extreme, like
Exactly.
no water, no nothing, and like
But it was just
Especially in 2020, you could have Uber eat water if you wanted to.
that thing.
Can I get 2 gallons of water, please? This is my GPS location.
charge my mother in Canada. That's it.
I'll pay you in sweat.
And I realized at that point that my mind is always like, keep going. And my knee was really hurting, but I kept going and I kept going. And then at one point I finally saw a car, and I waved to the car, and they brought me. And for 4 days, I could not move. And at that point, I told myself,
Where were you at that point?
I was in a tiny village in Portugal.
Okay.
So I was 120 kilometers away from Lisbon. So it was,
You walked that 180 kilometers?
I walked the 750 kilometers.
No, but
You were at the beginning or the end of your journey?
I was at the beginning, like 100. I was at 120.
Okay.
So at that point, I realized, I was like, what my mind is not processing, my body will come into physical form at some point. And
what
then
was it
it's
telling
just,
you now?
Wait,
that you're
I'm not
tired?
sure I understand that phrase.
So what
okay.
I'm trying to say is that we kind of, everything we don't, our subconscious leads our life in the physical realm. That's kind of how I see it. And so everything that you
I'm letting you speak. I'm taking notes.
so essentially what I'm trying to say is your fears and things that you don't want to face or accept are the things that are actually showing up in your life. And for me, it was, I believed that what I did determined my value as an individual. And I would not let myself rest because of it. It was always focusing on, I need to be the best athlete, the best artist, the best writer, the best friend, the best this, the best that. And it was all through practice. And I didn't realize that stemmed because I believed that I wasn't enough as an individual.
It's
And
a big leap, no, from one side to the other.
pardon?
Isn't that a leap? How did you get that from a busted knee?
Oh, well, that was kind of showing that the knee well, that was actually my illness of just what I was doing. It was just,
okay.
But it was just the accumulation that after when I got healthy, I was still doing that. I was still back in the pattern of what I did. Okay. And my knee was just the reminder of your mind will not make you be able to do anything. And that was also something I figured out.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Say that again?
Your mind will not, your mind doesn't dictate your body at the end of the day has a say, as much of a say as your mind.
But your body's a tool.
But your mind is also a tool. Your mind is actually,
Tool of what?
your soul is technically how I see it.
Okay, so wait.
Yeah.
So if we're going to the soul, that's a different
Yes.
game here. What is the soul?
The soul to me is how your creativity, how the universe is demonstrates love through your body.
Beautiful words. I'm not
yes.
sure they mean anything. I just want to really understand.
Creativity
Yes, creativity.
is essentially how you present love into the world, the physical world. That's how I see it. And the soul is technically the messenger of that.
Do animals have souls?
I believe they do.
Okay. And their creativity is how exactly here?
I can't speak even for humans. How would a
No,
creativity
you can speak for you, but I'm saying it's an
Yeah.
observation, right? Because if you got this knowledge from where?
It's something that I felt.
You observed, you watched, you felt, you've seen, you witnessed, you
Experience.
experienced, and you
Yeah.
analyzed towards that conclusion. You just didn't wake up one morning and had this information. If you're talking about the universe, for example,
Yeah.
that concept of universe, you just didn't wake up one day. So or you read a book, or you met somebody, or you saw something, or felt something, or
Yeah.
dreamt of something, whatever.
How did you know that was the universe? Basically, that's the question. So you felt something?
Wait, talking about what?
When you said the
about what?
universe is its way going through this, okay, so the concept of a soul, where
Yes.
did that come from?
The concept of it's something that you feel. Essentially, it's not physical form. Feeling is not a physical.
No, I get that. I'm
Yeah,
not talking about the
but-
definition of a soul. How did you know a soul for you? What made you believe a soul truly existed?
It's through feeling. Don't you feel as though beyond your body, when you feel something?
I feel
how-
25, but I'm actually 45, right?
but not in that sense.
What sense?
I mean, like on an emotional, a feeling when you have an idea,
But that's the mind.
no, because there's a difference between a thought and a feeling. There's a difference between an emotion and a feeling.
There is, but they come from the same place.
I don't believe
It's a
so.
it's
a thought.
a chemical reaction in your brain.
No, but the thought is essentially
Yes.
something that comes from a bias. It comes from the subconscious. That's how I would describe it. And consciousness is a feeling. It is a flow state. It is energy that comes through you and is released through you and is transformed. And essentially, the soul is responsible for that transformation. And it is the energy that you receive within your vessel that is essentially what makes your life, what makes your love attraction, essentially.
You went deep on that one.
You went deep, but I'm trying to understand what is the source of this information, because this did not come from you. Let's be very honest. Except if you're 6 hours of meditation per day and you heard the voice of an angel that gave you
No, but
the
It brought her
enlightenment. Yeah, that's what I mean. Because the thing is, what you're saying, scientifically speaking, the way we express it, right? It's triggers, right? Your subconscious, whatever you. Okay, so when you see something, right? You're looking at me right now.
Yeah.
And your vision right now, you're focused on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, your eyes are still perceiving the background, the colors, this and everything. Yeah. Your mind is the one saying, that's not important right now. Focus on that. The same reason you can't see your nose right now. It's literally in front of you. Mm-hmm. But your brain said that's not important. We can't focus on that. It's all about focus, right? And a lot of things happens with athletes, for example, when they do these super powered moments is because their focus was so clear when a mother lifts a car to save her child. Mm-hmm. Ask her in a normal state to do it, she will never be able to. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the mind is like
Adrenaline.
exactly, and our body and our mind for survival only uses about 60 to 70% of your maximum capacity every day. Mm-hmm. Because if you're always at your maximum, you're gonna burn out. Mm-hmm. So your mind is trying to do its best to survive the longest and not be put in a situation where it would put itself in danger. This is consciously or unconsciously, we do it on the same way I do not control my heartbeat. It's my mind that does it.
Yeah, but you could have a feeling. You do agree that you have feelings
Feelings-
that are not part of your mind, right? It's a
How?
feeling. Like you have a feeling and then you're thinking out, what is my body telling me now?
But it's okay. So the feeling, fair enough, whatever you want to call it, like feeling or anything out there. Who is analyzing whatever is out there?
I didn't say you're
It's
not
not
going to use your
about
brain.
analyzing.
No, but for you to know that it's there, this feeling, right? For you
Yeah,
to know that the feeling is there.
I think that's where we differentiate, because I don't believe that analyzing. I think analyzing is a state of survival.
Explain.
But you're constantly analyzing.
Yeah, because you came to
You cannot
words,
stop
you
the
put a word-
analyzing.
Yeah, that-
You're breathing, whatever. You start running, you need more oxygen. Your body automatically analyzes that because there's lack of oxygen in your blood, and it starts inhaling more. So this is not even consciously wanted. Your body has its main purpose is to survive, regardless of your opinion, your taste, and whatever that is. So Because you're saying that this feeling is based on your senses, regardless of what they are. Everything that
It
you
is not.
How so?
I can't make you feel. Essentially, that's kind of, I can't tell you like this is what it is to feel. Feeling does not come from the five senses.
It comes from where?
It comes from the energy around us that is
It is a
just,
sense, vibration. So everything that you do, right? Even if let's
okay,
just say-
you're talking, but senses, you're not talking about.
What?
We're not talking about the same thing.
Sight, smell.
Because
You're talking about sight,
I'm talking
smell.
about the five senses.
So you're talking about the basic senses in their basic
Yes.
form, but
But
your
you're-
senses, like skin,
Yes.
senses the
Yes.
temperature outside.
Yes.
If like the animals are sixth sense, we have it. Our brain just doesn't focus on it that much.
Mm-hmm.
There's research now that can tell you that the hair on your arms can literally tell you if it's going to rain or not, if you would actually know what you're looking for. So the information is in front of you. You just don't know what you're looking for.
Exactly, but I think that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know what they want to prioritize because people do not know themselves.
About focus, but
No.
it's still based on the five senses.
No, because what
a
I'm
sixth
trying to
sense.
say,
No, it's the five.
is people don't know who they are as an individual without all of these external situations. They don't know how they want to present love and where they want to prioritize their lives. But you don't know what to prioritize if you do not feel it, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is you're trying to bring that feeling of what does peace feel like?
Peace?
Yeah. So you
It's death.
have,
Yes. Peace is by definition absence of everything. It's quiet. It's empty.
but
You
you
could be
can,
quiet
through
and
meditation.
No, you cannot be in peace as a human being. That's impossible. Even the enlightenment, even Buddha, by basics, his theory was he had to detach and abandon his family, go into a fucking forest, and try to empty his mind completely, right? So the myth behind it is he found enlightenment because he was able to.
Did he find peace?
Who knows?
Was he dead?
No, but dead, not necessarily you're dead, kaput.
Okay.
Meaning
that's
that you stay still. You don't
Isn't
move.
that meditating though? Like when you're meditating itself,
yeah.
aren't you specifically emptying your mind in order to listen to your breathing to make sure
So-
that
so
you're
the people-
still in the moment?
So the people, no, you're not in the moment. You're in,
You
in
are
a
in
plane
the
of
moment.
emptiness. No, there's no moment if you don't move.
What do you mean?
I mean, because the thing is, what you're doing is you're going so close to death, where your heart rhythm it goes so low. You're so close to that. That's why we find peace. By definition, if you think about it, meditation. Those who do, those deep enlightenment meditations, the ones that can turn off the voices in their head. Those monks that stay in those temples for years and years and years. They did research on them, and their heart rate goes so low, it's literally borderline. That's why I said death. That's where peace comes from.
I'm not sure about that right
okay.
there. Like I'm thinking. I'll tell you why. The simplest thing, because let's be honest, I'm very simple in my brain right now. I'm gonna go work out. I'm doing a movement.
Mm-hmm.
There's people around me. I can't tell there's people around me. I'm in that moment lifting a weight. There's
called
nobody
distracted.
else. No, I'm there doing it. I'm doing
You're doing
a moving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm at peace. So everybody feels it a different way. Right? There could be 30,000 people around me. I won't see it. I'm me, myself. I'm in that moment that what I'm doing is lifting that weight, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but that's your focus. That's not peace in the most purest definition.
I think presence, essentially living in the moment, is something that we don't think we can actually achieve because we live in a society that always tells us security is found by looking ahead and planning for your future. And
I don't agree.
being
That's the Western civilization.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
But if you go to Africa, that's not at all the
Oh, no,
theory.
definitely.
But they don't necessarily have peace.
But what I'm trying to say is, what is it to actually live within a moment? It is recognizing what you love in that moment and prioritizing it. And it is finding fulfillment in those instances. But people often make plans of, okay, so this is like that because of this. So they're not recognizing what that is in that moment and what it is for its true state. We know it through our biased state of this is what makes sense. Example, you're looking at a book and you don't like reading. Okay, no, this is a terrible example. I don't have
Please
a good
try
example
again.
right now. Yeah. But example, okay, you're planning a trip. You're planning your trip. And so 3 days from now, you are going on an excursions and you've set up like these different things. And that essentially, if you are willing to go into that moment and tell yourself, okay, you know what? In that moment, if I don't want to do something or I have a feeling and I should go in another direction, my plans will not stop me from going in that direction.
Okay.
But essentially, often we find comfort in following structures and building things from the fear of the unknown. And so I do not plan anything.
Or disaster.
Ever.
I travel, I get to a location, like I've booked my flight, like I booked my flight for Japan, so I have planned my flight. But I don't know once I get there what I'm doing.
So what?
So what is, I'll be in that moment able to determine where I'm feeling
you
like
see-
going.
okay,
I'm
so-
not
But can't you do
taking
that by planning
a
your
No,
trip?
but that's the
but
thing.
you're going in blindly because it's creating an assumption of what something will feel like based on what it looks like, what it either the
Wow,
like,
this is way too complicated. So I'll hyper simplify your trip for Japan.
it's super
No,
simple.
I've been to Japan.
Okay.
Right? So you see, all this, what you're saying is about focus. So living the moment for you is focusing on the moment. That's pretty much what you're trying to say. I just use the word focus because I can focus. You could have the worst day of your life, but if you focus on the good things that you have,
Absolutely.
you'll have a good day. It's your focus. Now, going to Japan and you deciding not to know what you're going to do there, that's on you. Cool. Enjoy. You like a level of surprise in your life, and that's on you. Cool. Me and I have friends that need to plan every minute. I agree with that. That's not for me. That makes them happy. It makes them feel safe, whatever it is. Me, the only requirements I need going to a foreign country that I do not speak the language and I do not know the limits, especially at the time I went there, was in 2003. There was no internet, really, no smartphones, no nothing like that, right? So I traveled with a map. The only thing that I needed to know to at least have a little bit of controlled chaos was know where I was sleeping. However I got there, what route I took, I decided to go right and left, and that was me. Those were my moments of pleasure. Now, what I'm trying to understand or trying to explain here is your method is your method.
Of course.
Okay, but that doesn't make you more, how can I put this? Living the moment more than I am. You give that
That's
value.
not what I'm trying to say, though.
What are you trying to say so?
What I'm trying to say is that we often have a tendency to believe that a moment looks a certain way. We
Who's we?
create. I talk as a collective.
No, but which collective? Because this
I
is
think
very
we are-
westernized mentality. Now you're talking to an Italian, right? You're talking to a Cameroonian, and you're talking to an Algerian. So especially us two, let's just say, if we lived back home where we had the most, I don't know where you lived in Italy. If it was, have you been to Italy?
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you live in a village or you live in a big city, it's two different things, right? You just walk out, like at my grandmother's house, I remember, I would just walk out and go and grab an orange. Yeah. Simplest thing, it smelled different, the birds, the animals, was never threatened. Those same animals, you put them in a major city and everybody starts panicking, it's the end of the world, right? Yeah. That's why I meant by the focus. Now, the simple or the most basic needs are a majority of this planet. Not most people live in luxury where there's metros, buses, Uber Eat, and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? So
Of course.
when
So
you're
you think she's
saying we,
referring-
who's we? Who are you talking for?
When I say we is essentially every single person is part of, we are a collective consciousness. We have a collective consciousness where we either live in fear and live in love. And right now we are in a very fearful world. But every person,
Or you can be numb too. There's not only two options in this.
well, numbness is the result of fear.
Says who? wait.
That reaction was classic.
Says who? Being numb is just being neutral.
Yeah, but being neutral is
What?
the fear of feeling and being like, why would people become numb if they're not willing to process emotions?
Or they can't understand their emotions.
That's it.
Exactly, but
Not
not
understanding
understanding,
does not make
is
you-
not wanting to look within yourself.
But
to be
not
able
everybody
to
needs
answer.
to. That's what I'm trying to say. Not everybody needs to be enlightened.
No, but that's not what I'm. Enlightenment is not like you need to follow this path. Enlightenment just means to feel peaceful and happy, and I think
that's it.
everyone deserves that.
Some people
Absolutely.
feel peace and happiness fat in their basement playing video games all day, eating pizza and drinking Coke.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's very
but is it
personal.
exactly?
Now-
But it's not presented the same way in the physical form. That's what creates diversity and beauty in this world.
So it's a good thing now.
Diversity
Yes.
is vital for our existence.
Okay.
I think we should go back. Okay, so you went on this path. You went walking. Your
Yeah,
knee
we-
busted.
Like we're
okay,
going-
let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay, you busted your knee. Then it brought you some sort of like you.
Like
you
what
written a
happened?
book. You written a book of your experience. That's what the
Wait,
yeah.
I want to know after the broken knees, after 120 kilometers.
And
It's
4
not.
days
It's
of
not
not
broken.
walking.
It's a bursitis or
Okay.
a rise.
It was
right,
swollen,
right. It
I
was
guess.
swollen.
or
Yeah, like
she-
super swollen,
Bursit, is that?
and
Okay.
so
Well, that happens to me every 6 months.
it's like a huge. It's a huge liquid, and so my knee was twice the size of my other knee.
And it forced you to stop walking for
Yeah.
a certain period.
Yeah, so for 10 days I couldn't walk, and because at first I was like, oh, it'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass. What happened is that they told me, well, now there's not enough liquid for us to actually take it out anymore because you've waited too long. So you're gonna have to sit it out, which took me another 6 days because I am walking 30 to 45 kilometers a day, right?
That must have been a struggle for you to slow down at that point and be
accept.
forced. It's the first time in your life that your mind didn't take over your body and it brought you to this point
After
of
long-
It wasn't
feeling.
the first time because when I got sick, my body shut down and my mind
But
couldn't.
you might have been a little younger back then, so you couldn't realize what was happening. And at this point, you're trying to connect the dots together, and you're connecting the dot of my body's let go. My feelings are I don't know. I'm dealing with my feelings at this point, and you came to this enlightenment state.
No, it was just a reminder of oh yeah, you see,
Oh,
this
you
is
already
what
knew before.
happened. Yeah, I was this is
Okay.
what happens when you think that your mind is
She had a David Goggins moment.
That's what I was going for through the whole
I
pod.
thought that's where we were going.
That's what
yeah.
I was going for.
Okay.
That's why I meant.
Okay,
If that
but-
suits you, by all means. But I want to finish the end of your story.
Okay.
Do you know who Goggins is?
No.
That would
Okay.
Please
explain
hold.
so much
Continue.
now.
Okay. So essentially,
It's not a bad thing, so don't.
No,
be
no, no,
worried.
it's a
Don't be
very
worried.
great
Don't
thing.
worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's mentally fucked, but yes, he is. He is a psychopath, but he has a
Okay, easy. Let's focus on what's happening right now. It's not true. He's not a psychopath.
Psychopath.
It's okay.
Did you say he's
He's what?
focusing on?
He's
obsessed.
determined.
He's obsessed.
Yeah.
So just a
David
side note,
Goggins
just to
is-
give you who this guy is, he was supposed to do a 3-man marathon. He did it on his own with, I think, 17 fractures to his foot. And he's an ex-fat guy, military. And then one day something happened and he's like, never again. And he started training ever since. And he's like, it's mind over body.
He had
The
a
body's only the
bad
tool.
childhood. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it
Well,
was.
you can add, all the spices you want.
Let's just say with that knee, he would have continued.
He would have continued and said it would have healed while we're going because it's all in your head. Stop being weak, stop being weak, stop being weak. And that's pretty much it.
And
that's
he's
his
proven
obsession.
his point, though, right? He's done over
Yeah,
and
but-
over challenges for him. That it's what it
100%.
works. That's what it is.
Now ask him if he's happy.
I don't see him unhappy, but
Oh.
we'll see.
Again, it is each their own.
Yeah.
So after 10 days, I started walking again.
Where were you those 10 days?
I stayed in Tomar. It's actually a really beautiful town. It's
Where did you get the money for how to?
I've been since I'm young, I've just been saving my money.
You are still young.
No, since I've been young, since I'm 5 years old, every birthday card, I have never spent a penny.
So you planned for this.
No, I just
Unconsciously.
did. I was just the type of person is right now. I don't need to spend this money. I don't know where it would have value, so I would just keep it. And then I started working, and I just kept my money. And then after high school, I decided to leave, and I worked. So I just started making money, and so I just saved. And I actually do not spend a lot of money while traveling. A lot of people think traveling. I traveled for 10 months, and it cost me not even 14 grand.
Oh my God, I want to be you when I grow up.
Where did you go? Bali.
No, I went to Morocco for 4 months. I went to Nepal for 3 months, where I went trekking most of the time and did
Try that
survival
in Japan, we'll
there.
see.
Yeah, so I
Good
went
luck.
to Everest Base Camp, and I did Langtang Valley, and they're just like incredible hikes. And then I did survival in the jungle for a week and a half.
Do you have a death wish or something?
No, I just for me, for me, it's
love
really just about reminding people that you are capable of doing whatever you set your mind to
100%.
and
You're switching your
surviving.
conversation there.
Sorry.
You said you're capable of doing everything your mind.
Yes, but mind is just what I mean by you can set your mind to something, but it's through the feeling. If I'm feeling something, it's important to share it. And my medium of communication example will be by talking or by writing. And that is channeled through the mind essentially, or channeled through the body. But what I'm trying to, you're right, I did not necessarily communicate that properly, or I did, but just in the sense that like you can achieve whatever you feel like achieving, and it is possible. And like doing what is taught to be survival of looking for food, having nothing, having to build a shelter, having to relocate because of forest fires, having to like dehydration, getting parasites, all those things. It's like, yes, physically my body was surviving, but my mind was in a state where it felt very peaceful, and it was like, we'll get through this and we'll find a way. And it's like, I wouldn't want to stay in that state forever, because obviously it's very hard on the body. But just like when your mind needs help, your body can come in. And when your body needs help, your mind can come in. But that is through the feeling of knowing that you are deserving of these things.
Okay.
And so for me, it was just like reminding people that we all deserve love, and we all deserve to live our life the way we want to live it. And it's like, it's not going to look the same for everyone. We're all going to live our lives so differently, and that's what's beautiful about it. And so a challenge for one person might be very easy for another, but the fact that this person is challenging themselves in that way is beautiful. And it's like feelings are shared around the world, but physical experiences are not. So it's like, how do we truly connect? It's through the way we feel. And so that's kind of where I'm coming to with going back to how we're feeling. It's going back to that is what actually unites us all. We all feel love. We all strive for more love. And that's what unites us. And that is what we is, our collective.
Goggins would say the opposite.
Pardon?
He thrives for excellency. He doesn't thrive for love at all. That's why I said, is he happy or not? Again, after that, being happy is very personal, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever rocks your boat. Some people just want to make a difference. Some people want to put an imprint on this planet. Others just want to get by and not bother anybody. Nobody bothers them. Okay, like your definitions of feeling are very... I don't understand them, to be honest, because I feel like you're just replacing the word feeling for something like purpose or objective.
But it is a purpose. Your feeling is essentially what guides you to your purpose. It is when you feel good, you're able to give more. You're able to share more. And essentially, that is...
Again, I could actually think about my mom. She's been through so much, and she worked hard, and she gave more for us not to go through what she went through. So again, it's really a question of half full, half empty here. It feels like you're talking from a place of advantage here, meaning that you came from a full family, whatever. So, and then you're like, there's more to this. And I get that. Some people are starting at -20. Some people are starting at +40. Their journey to whatever they're going is going to be completely different.
Definitely.
And there is no right or wrong. As long as you assume your actions in that sense. Right? Now, do we live for love? I feel like love is a little bit overrated, to be extremely honest. The same way hate is, right? I can care less if somebody hates me, the same way I could care less if somebody loves me, if it's not mutual.
It's not connection. You're not, because I think the word love in this particular paradox, whatever, is you're connecting with others. That's the word. It could be.
We live in a
So
society. It's part of.
we live in a society that is that crucial for you to be happy?
But it's
that
not crucial to
connection.
live in a society. That's what I mean. Some people live in isolation, and that's where they find their peace. They're one with nature or whatever it is, right? Again, we because of civilization and the evolution of man going from hunters
Hunter-gatherers.
to to now these big cities and stuff like that, and how we evolved. Now it could be a bad evolution, it could be a good evolution, whatever. Technology has its good, it has its bad. Now you can go to Japan instead of walk and swim 1,000,000 kilometers here. We agree?
She would be able to walk there.
Yeah, but she has to swim too.
I can't swim. I can't.
Except if she goes from the North Pole, and good luck with that one. But my point being is, we all look for peace, purpose, whatever you want to use the word, to be honest. But some people are not that complicated. They don't need much. Others want more.
Exactly.
They want always extra, 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 because trying to be better, trying to do better, trying to be a better person than yesterday is for them a reminder that they do exist and they do matter. Some people don't need to know they matter.
But I think that it's removing the word necessarily need to choose. These people, if they're doing it out of love, they're choosing. It's not a need.
But you don't have
like
much choice, because we all have to apply to the rules of our surrounding.
But it's knowing that you have the capacity to change your environment through feeling. You can stay in the same place and you can change. You can feel better depending on how you self-talk, how the narrative you give to your life.
I'll let you stay focused.
So
It's thought. It's not feeling. It goes back to thought.
Focus.
Right? Like you're telling yourself,
Focus.
it's okay. We're okay. I could get through this. I'm good. It's not a big deal. Right? Like
You're literally
you're
lying to
living-
yourself in a
but
sense.
no, but exactly. But it's believing it. It's the belief of
Believing
it.
to
So
your
you're
life.
saying no. It's
Why
no.
not?
yeah, believing your lie. Okay.
Yeah.
You're believing whatever,
Because
but it's a
you
belief.
think that your life matters. That's a lie.
I think everyone's life.
Yeah, but you see,
matters.
that's
That's
like
harsh. What do you mean? Not everybody's life matters.
if
What do you mean? I matter.
If you would take a metaphor to our existence, us four here, we would be the equivalent, probably, of a tiny, tiny quarter of a grain of sand on an infinite beach.
That we have a purpose. That we
the
matter.
purpose. What's the purpose?
That little
please?
grain has a place
Yeah,
in the sand. That's it.
But you see what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
We are so in the spect of time and in this universe.
Insignificant.
We're like, that's literally our existence. That's
Yeah, not even,
literally
yeah.
our existence. And that's what I mean. So I am from the school of thought, try to do good and enjoy the ride as long as it goes. Whatever you want to do. You want to live like a hermit and try to find, I don't know, God or either universe or aliens, that's on you. You want to work hard and become a workaholic and be obsessed by money, that's on you. You want expensive things, you want to spend time with your family, whatever you want, it's on you. As long as you assume the consequences and you try not to affect the people around you. Because if you become a parasite and you start infecting people around you and hurting them, or for your priority, that's where I feel the impact is bad. And that grain of sand could literally do like a butterfly effect.
I also think, though, that people itself do not put importance on really they go with what's expected of them and thinking that's going to bring them happiness.
Exactly.
Versus what's really going to bring you happiness. It doesn't mean that what brings me happiness is necessarily what brings you happiness or brings
But
you
what
or
you
whatever.
think brings you happiness is not necessarily what will bring you happiness, neither.
Exactly, but
You
that's
adjust accordingly, yeah.
essentially being able to be vulnerable with yourself to feel what you're actually going through.
But that's-
it's removing those blind spots that we often just create for ourselves because of our environments when we're younger. So we are products of our environment, and that we often don't believe that we are capable of changing our environments. And that's essentially by feeling what you don't connect with within your environment and being able to kind of channel that elsewhere and being able to see where you want to go with that.
Yeah, but that's constantly changing. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say. There is no
constantly changing.
one target, one goal.
Exactly.
Whatever you want today, tomorrow you can want something else. And that's okay. That's on
Exactly.
you because it's your responsibility, it's your life. You do whatever you want with it.
Exactly.
Right?
But-
But it still has to be in the realm of logic and wherever you're situated. If you have no money, you can't travel.
Actually, I know a lot of people that travel that have zero
How can you
dollars.
get to Japan without money?
But the thing is, some of my friends that are from Denmark,
Yes.
he has been traveling, hitchhiking. He has no money.
Minimalistic at this point.
Yeah, he traveling for 8 years. He
No, that's
hasn't
okay.
worked a job.
And is he
And
happy?
he's actually very happy. And I think that's the thing. We often have an idea of what happiness looks like. And what I'm trying to say is essentially happiness doesn't look like anything. It feels like something. And when you have it, you know it. And that's essentially what
But
I'm
also
trying
the
I
to
agree with
difference
what you just said.
with-
Sorry, before. But that feeling
Yeah.
doesn't remain. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
I'm
it-
adding to what you just said right now. Everything I 100% agree. Feeling, whatever your happiness, whatever, is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
But what makes you happy today is not necessarily what will make you
Exactly.
happy tomorrow and what made you happy
Exactly.
20 days, 20 years ago.
Exactly.
But we are constantly evolving. So you're trying to name something that has no form.
But that's what that is essentially what I'm not doing that because I'm saying we should live in the moment to be able to know what we do actually, what actually brings us peace and happiness. And we are humans.
But peace and
we are
happiness are two
flawed.
different things. That's why when you're putting them together, for some it's the same thing. For others, it's not.
I know, but what I'm just trying to say is essentially making what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are humans, we are flawed. We are not always going to feel good. And it's the acceptance of that. So when we feel sad, the way I kind of explain it is sadness is not something that we create. It is something that comes to us. It's an energy that passes through us. And we either keep it because it's energy and we think that it's better than just letting it go because we're scared of having that void. So we keep it. And essentially
But you
it
see, you're
grows.
contradicting yourself.
Wait,
Scared
he has a
of
question.
keeping that
Well-
void. You're saying by definition, you're scared. You're creating that fear by not wanting that void. The word that you just used, you said scared
Of having
being that
a
void. So that
Yes.
fear is coming from where? It's not coming from the outside. It's coming from the inside.
But the fear is the accumulation of the energy that is pent up through the years. When we are born, we are not born scared.
Of course you are. I can guarantee it, and I can even prove it to you multiple times.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Why,
guessing
'cause
you
you
don't have
have-
kids?
I don't have.
Okay, so if you put a baby
Yes.
as it's born, because you know we're the combination of our ancestors' DNA, reflexes, and instincts. The reason why we already are somewhat closer to our parents' characters because we have them in them. Their fears, their traumas, as much as we do not realize it, is in us.
And their ancestors and their ancestors.
Exactly.
So you do believe
If
that.
a mother is anxious or through duress while she's pregnant, the baby will be born nervous. And this is proven a million times over. So you coming with this idea that a baby comes in with a clean slate is completely false, sadly.
Yeah, no, that is true.
No, that's what
it
I'm
is
saying. I
true,
work
it
with
is
babies.
true,
That's why.
but-
So you have nervous babies, you have easygoing babies. It's not because they learned to get it. It was already implemented. And if the environment helps them grow that, it's even going to go exponentially or worse. And then you add the trauma and the accumulation or nurture and nature. And then that's what we are an accumulation of experiences that we had, our parents had, our grandparents, our tribe, and stuff like that. They used to say way back home, a baby is raised by a tribe, not by a family, but not by a mother. And what they meant by that, it wasn't necessarily a physical tribe, but it's your ancestries too, your traditions, your culture. And this baby is born. There's a lot of babies today, especially because of high sugar and high stuff. They're born already very nervous babies. The heart rate is pumping. Any sound shocks them. They didn't do nothing to learn that. They were born that way. You get what I'm saying? Like, not all babies are equal.
Oh, no, I know that I know
No, okay.
because it also certain parents like drug use while like
Yeah, but that's, I'm not talking
everything-
physically. I'm talking even mentally.
Yeah,
Every
it's-
baby doesn't have the same capacities to adapt, to feel love, to get attached to parents, detached. There's like
Generational trauma
exactly
coming into
That's what I meant.
yeah.
Like I would love to believe you, but no, babies are not with a clean slate. Sadly.
But what I mean is their souls. I'm not talking about.
Oh, we
But you
forgot
can't
about
just,
the word.
but you can't just throw
Okay.
words just to
No,
say.
but that's the thing. It's because you think that I'm just throwing.
No, I don't
words
believe in
around.
souls. So let me put it
but
that way.
You don't
I
believe in a
understood-
soul?
I don't believe in a soul.
But that's why I understood, because every time I mention something soul related, it's coming back to the physical, like the physical realm of it.
No, but we could go into the not physical realm. But there's nothing like the concept of a soul was literally created by the man originally. Now we can talk about auras. That is the vibration and the heat that your body absorbs or puts out there. That I agree, but that's not a soul in the traditional way where it's like a ghost inside you that sparks you. That I do not believe that exists.
So you believe in reincarnation?
I do believe in reincarnation.
So what is your definition of reincarnation now here?
Reincarnation, essentially, for me, it's just when you die, your body is just like decomposes, but your essence, your
Soul.
memories, your your soul.
I'm helping you here. Your soul, yeah, go ahead. Goes where?
Essentially, it travels into another being. Essentially, that happens for me.
Human
the way I
being,
see
or it goes to animals, trees,
it
whatever?
can be to anything on another planet, just another realm, another way to learn. Essentially, I believe that as a human being, I'm living a physical experience to understand what love is to a greater extent, being able to remove and shed the blind spots, because right now we are light with shadows, and essentially it's trying to become light. And that's how I see it.
Lights with shadows
So
trying to become light.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of see it. It's just that we as humans live through these physical experiences to be able to understand truth.
So how do you know these things? That's what I'm really curious about.
Honestly,
How would you know that reincarnation? Did somebody show you? Did you have a dream? How? Like you don't just wake
yes.
You
up
believe in dreams.
I believe in dreams in what sense?
in the sense that it's a window to the future or to the past or to your subconscious.
Or an energy that's telling you what's up ahead?
Well, I do believe that dreams hold significance.
Of course.
And I do believe that it's a sense of guidance. And the way whether or not people believe if dreams are like mean something or do not mean something, essentially that person is creating it for themselves. Because if I believe that my dream means something, I will observe it and look at it and analyze it or process it. And essentially I will extract information.
You
and
give it
knowledge
meaning.
Exactly. And so whether or not somebody thinks it's real, that's to each their own,
No,
essentially.
yeah. But let's get back to the soul thing there.
Yeah.
To the whole reincarnation, sorry.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with this concept?
For me, it is something that since I'm young, I just feel. And then
What does it feel to feel that the reincarnation exists?
So it's kind of like a download.
The download?
I don't know.
We're going into the Matrix. Have you
honestly-
watched the Matrix?
I have watched the
Okay,
Matrix.
All
at least. No, she needs, the first
Hold
three.
on, you've never read a book. Let's keep it simple. You've never read a book that said anything about reincarnation or a soul,
After.
and then it connected, saying, "Oh, it's this.
So
This is
after
what
to
happened."
make sense
After.
of the way you
So,
were feeling.
what was the original concept before you read a book to put more sense to it?
Well, for me, the first actual sense with like the spiritual realm, I guess, was because I ended up speaking with someone that I did not know, like a dead person that I did not know.
How do you know they
And-
were dead?
Well, because I knew who they were related to, and I went to talk to this person. I told them I got this download of information. I don't really know if it's true, and essentially,
But that's not reincarnation. That's a lost soul. Reincarnation, it should be somewhere else.
A lost what?
Huh?
A
Lost soul.
soul?
Yeah, and that definition of people who believes in souls, ghosts, for example, are people in between realms, right?
Exactly.
But if you believe in reincarnation, you're supposed to come when this body dies, you go somewhere else. Now that person is kind of lost, maybe taking a 700-kilometer walk there in the soul world.
Well, it's just that A soul, essentially, it doesn't mean that, oh, you're dead, you're going in another body now. It can just be in like
Limbo?
it can be in transition, it can remain there. Like, it's just everything kind of just unfolds in different times.
But
in
if it remains
different-
there, it's not reincarnation anymore.
Pardon?
If it doesn't go to somewhere else, it's not reincarnation anymore.
Well, I believe you reincarnate until you reach enlightenment.
Okay, let's bring it back because you're going too far. So
Yeah.
we wanted to know how you connected it to soul. It's not because you read a book. It's because you had an experience. During
Yeah.
that experience, you spoke to somebody that passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't know they passed away because they told you to go see this X person, which is a
No.
family member.
I did. I like
You sense
when
it.
when somebody's talking, like it's not somebody talking to you, it's just a download of information about someone, and you know that this person is dead. Like, it's not like, oh, this person somewhere is giving me telepathy and like I'm gonna go and find them. It's like, you know that this person has passed, and essentially it was somebody that went to school with me that I had never spoken to, and it was his uncle. And we ended up dating afterwards, and I started doing readings for his family, which was kind of
So
Unique.
you had sex with his nephew while he was there, not too far away. If I do get that properly.
that.
Why you have to put it
Is that
down?
what's
Why you have to put it
because
down?
between me and you, if I would know ghosts are around me right now,
I'd be like, I'm staying away.
especially if it's a member of the person I'm with,
Do you really think that whoever is here is only us four? Like there's nobody
this
else?
is gonna be fun. What
I'm
are we-
asking that there's no other energy other than us?
energy,
Yeah.
Or-
like anybody there, like
A
somebody from our
soul.
a
past.
soul, like a conscious soul.
An
That's
angel
it's
or a
not
bad
the
angel,
way
like
I
whatever
see
you want
it
to
is
call
not-
it.
No,
Whatever you want
there
to
is
call
none.
it.
No.
The way I see it's not like this person is sitting next to us and like they're there. For me, it's energy that holds memory, and
Okay.
it travels around the universe. And essentially you can tap into that energy, and that energy can come to you. And it's just like this kind of sense of communication sharing. I think that often we have a tendency to like assume that when we're talking about like either God, we're talking about a man in the sky, or like a soul, we're talking about a white thing that's just in the corner of the room.
But we're not
Or-
assuming. It was
But-
written in a book that multiple millions and millions of people, billions of people believe in. This is not something that somebody just woke up is like, hey guys, let's have a consensus here. There's an old man with a beard seated in the clouds, right? And just omnipresent here. These are, and again, I'm not here to debunk religions or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. All these concepts of souls, reincarnation is very Asian type Hinduism and Buddhism associated culture to that, the Enlightenment and everything like that. And then there's, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and then you have other, the old ones, Zeus, the Greek and Roman gods. There's the South American gods and stuff like that. I'm not here to say they're true or not true, but most, not to say all, to not disrespect anybody, came from a place of ignorance and fear. So they had to justify what was done. That's why I'm asking you, where did this concept come from you? If it's not a book that you read, right? You weren't influenced by something you heard or read or seen or whatever. You just woke up and heard this guy's voice. And how did you connect? Did this download of information tell you, that's my nephew, he goes to your school and I died?
It was just a feeling. I knew that person was related to that person.
But you never spoke to that guy.
No.
So
I had spoken to him. Actually, I had spoken to him once, and I told him to stop talking, and I was talking like 2 minutes earlier, so he just got pissed off. That was like our only conversation.
was this the only time you had...
No, I've had it many times, and then it was something that I actually kind of blocked out of my life because I wasn't able to kind of set boundaries, and I was getting super tired. And like it was like I was in the bus, and I would get information, and so it was for the person that was beside me, and I was like, oh, by the way, like I don't want to sound like
Weird.
like, yeah, but I was like, your aunt loves you. And he would start crying. He was like, oh, she passed 2 weeks ago. And it was just, for me, it just became like too much that I kind of blocked off that part of my life until I realized that it doesn't have to be by connecting through those energies. It can be connecting just with the people around you and feeling the energy that is presently there. And then these information can come in, but they don't need to be like something that I wasn't ready for, because I wasn't ready for that intensity of energy and just downloads. And so it's something that I've had to kind of set boundaries. Like in everything, we need to learn to set boundaries and essentially know where we are putting our limits to something in that moment. And in those moments, I just wasn't able to be present enough to set my limit.
Do they just go after?
Yeah. Well, some of them they stick, and some of them they go. It was funny because when I was in Guatemala, I was with two of my friends, and my friends are they don't believe, they just, and we were in a room, and I kept telling them there's a little there's somebody that has died here, and their energy is really present. I've been having difficulty sleeping for the past couple of days. My friends were like, okay, whatever. And I was like, and I feel and we were always talking super loud. And I was like, do you guys mind if I just do a quick meditation telling this person, it's okay and you can leave? And it was that was the only time where I had a spiritual experience where it actually entered the physical realm. And I was with
Say that again?
That it was a spiritual experience that actually entered the physical realm in that
What do you
sense.
mean by that sentence?
Yeah, I'll explain
Turn
now.
on the TV or something?
No, so I'm with my friends, and I have my eyes closed, and I tell them okay, she's gonna leave the room, and the door just opens, the doorknob turns and opens, and my friend started screaming and
But
screaming.
why did she
and
open the
screaming.
door if she didn't need to
She
open the door?
left.
She doesn't need to open the door?
No, but I know.
She's
but
not in the physical
but I
realm.
know, but that is why. But
it is true.
It's true. It is true, and that was my only experience with something. And my friends freaked out. And
You spoke with this ghost?
Yeah. And
What language did they talk to you in?
Well, it's through feeling. That's what I'm saying. You're communicating, and it's a line
So
of
it's not language.
communication. Well, I can speak English.
But if you're in a South American country,
yeah,
they replying to you?
are they talking to you
yeah.
in Spanish?
But that's what I'm saying. For me, it is a download of information. So it's not this person, I'm hearing them speak to me. It is a sense of knowledge that enters my body. And so the knowledge, I'm going to process it in English because I speak English. But it's not, I hear someone and then they're talking to me. And then that depends on what type of spiritual, whatever direction you take or realm you take, or if it's through what sense you take. But for me, it's a download of information. So
Have you met other people like you?
Yeah, a lot of people actually.
A lot of people. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
Where are they?
where are they? Honestly,
Oh, the Jews.
Are they existent or in the soul world? I just want to know.
No,
they're
because you gotta understand. You're in a podcast right now, so there's a couple of people that's gonna see you. So you're not. I don't want to say ashamed, but you're not afraid of what people are gonna think or say or whatever. Maybe you one of the rare person that actually can be out there and have this conversation with us and share it with whoever's gonna watch it. But you're clearly not alone. I don't want to say not alone, but aren't you afraid of being judged?
I think feeling like you're going to be judged, you're always judged. At the end of the day, people will love to bring you down in a way. Mm-hmm. And for me, I just find that unfortunate to feel the need to bring somebody else down because it doesn't show anything. It's a projection of yourself. Every time you wish something bad upon someone, it is something that you are not in agreement with. And so essentially, if people judge me, I don't mind. It doesn't belong to me. And essentially, if I take that judgment, I'm essentially allowing this negativity to expand. And I don't believe our world deserves that. I don't believe...
I'll do you one better.
Okay,
I'll do
go
you
ahead.
one better. Because as I was listening to you, I'm like, okay, you're a chosen one. You're a gift. You're a vessel.
I'm
right?
not.
But yes, you are, because not the average person. We're 4 people here. You're the only one with a gift. So already there...
She's probably the only one that's aware of it.
No, but that's what I'm
Right
saying.
now.
Regardless, she's the only one aware of it here in this room right now. So you say you met a lot, but I'm pretty much sure it's still a very small minority.
But I think that you surround yourself with people that essentially connect with you in that regards. Example, food. When you prepare the food, actually like the way you're going to digest it will change. It is proven. This is actually proven afterwards.
No, that is true.
Yeah. That if
Can you just move the table a bit
Yeah.
from the side?
They would skip, more.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. This is good. So essentially,
The food.
The way you cook food.
The way you cook food has an impact on the food. The way you cultivate food has an impact on the food.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give it more energy if you're more devoted to it. And nutrients currently, there are less and less nutrients in food.
North America.
No, yeah. North American food, because we do it in vast like plains, and then we put a lot of pesticides because we just want it to look
And most
good.
are modified.
Yeah, but all food currently that like all fruits and vegetables that you see are actually modified because in their roots, like bananas that we know didn't exist. They used to be filled with grains, or apples were not. So it's just like
It's like melons that are seedless now, or grapes and stuff like that. They modified them,
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, it's just like it's people coming together and recognizing the energy that is around you, and we're just connecting through that. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what you. Okay, I'm gonna explain after, but it doesn't matter like what your baggage is. It is the fact that you are human, and for you to feel happy is just for everyone else to be able. Like, if you feel good, everyone else can feel good from that. It is your success is everyone's success, essentially.
Energy is contagious. We know
Exactly.
that. It could be good energy or bad energy.
Exactly. But that's essentially that energy that I'm talking about. When that was what I was talking about before as well. When you were talking about but what does that mean to feel? It is the energy.
But I said energy, you said not feeling. So again, I used the word energy from the beginning.
No, you were using the word focus.
No, but because you focus your energy.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that.
Okay, but so we are talking about the same thing.
Yeah, you focus your energy. It's like your senses. If you focus on what you're feeling at this finger, you'll only feel what is here.
But essentially, energy is like feeling is the reception of what is. That is how I would explain it.
Feeling
is the reception of what is. So it's the energy that is actually lying within the moment. It is not viewed or it's not perceived by the five senses. It is the energy.
So what's the energy right now?
Well, honestly, the energy is, I feel that you think that I'm very confused in my ideologies.
Not at all. You're not confused. You want me to give you my honest opinion? And I'll be very honest with you.
Go ahead.
I actually enjoy people like you because there's
people like you.
No, but people like you, meaning that they see the good in the world, right? And they see this rainbow. That's why I found it funny with the whole tribe thing. But there is a naiveness that a lot of cults have, that there's something amazing after type of thing. And that's what I mean by that. And I find it fascinating and I find it incredible. I've seen too much shit to actually, there's moments, the way you describe it, I felt those moments. They are those moments. But to have it constantly, I don't think it's humanly possible.
No, because we're not enlightened. But it's accepting when you
I don't know nobody that is.
But exactly. But that's why we're human. That's how I see it. We are not enlightened because we are
humans. So we're okay then. We're doing what we're supposed to do.
But essentially, this is kind of like a way for us to find beauty in what is there and be able to kind of channel that. Because if you're enlightened, why would you be on earth? You know everything. You are able, it wouldn't be there would be no challenges. And so essentially, the way I see it is we are on earth to be able to grow and to be able to receive more love and give more love. And so that's kind of how I would explain it.
Is this what the book was about? Your first book
My second book is about this. And I think that right now, a lot of the concepts that we're addressing, we're kind of jumping.
Right.
So I'm not able to really explain it to the full extent that I would want to explain it. And as well, like, yeah. So, but in that book, I really do address it in the sense, and I don't believe it's naivety.
That's my opinion. Again,
Yeah,
I'm not
but
saying you're crazy. I'm not saying that. I find it very hippie
yeah.
esque. That's what I mean. Like, and again, each their own, because the happiest people I know are these people that are very simple and very focused on the most simplistic things, right? They don't need much, and that's good and that's amazing. Yeah. But if ever you become a parent, that won't be a reality anymore. Like now you'll have responsibilities, and as much as you want to show them love and everything like that, life is cruel. You have to prepare them. You have to equip them, or else sadly maybe they'll become sick for a couple of years, not knowing why they were sick, right? Now you had a beautiful journey, cool. I can say that the majority of people that would have done what you would have done probably would have gave up, got sick, maybe lost a leg, die, and stuff like that. Now, are you the norm or are you the exception? Like I said, I got nothing but love for you. I wish you nothing but the best. And, I really hope you find whatever you're looking for. But I don't think you're the rule. I really believe you're the exception. Now, for the souls and everything like that, at the end of the day, the way I see it is like, does it really matter? If souls exist or not, if you're happy or not, in the sense that at the end of the day, you're the one going back home and you're stuck with your thoughts and your reality.
Exactly.
So each their own.
But exactly, for me, that's what it. For me, it's about how you feel. The way you navigate the world, that is your thing. The way you want to live your life, that is your thing. And I cannot tell you how you need to live your life. I don't know how you present love into the world. I don't know how you feel love into the world. I don't know what would be best for you. And for me to put myself in your situation with the way I process the world would be doing a disservice. And so for me, it's the reminding the world that you deserve love and you deserve to feel good. And so
that's
can't
where the
tell
naivness
you,
comes from.
But
Because-
no,
Why
because
you wouldn't? You
Because
Let me
you
explain
deserve. You don't deserve anything.
You don't-
Nobody owes you shit.
no, but
And also-
deserving is go ahead.
And also, don't forget, we're talking sitting here in Montreal. We're not talking
but
about
that's what I'm
from
saying.
another shitty country. Or I don't want to say shitty country, but
Those are the words of Donald Trump.
exactly.
Yeah, I got what you're
Second
going
or
for.
third world country where, trust me, they're happy. They're less suicide over there than us here. But the meaning of life or the meaning of waking up every day is totally different.
But just think about the Middle East right now.
Right
Those
now.
babies that are born there, as much as they want to be happy, they can't. As much as they can be enlightened all they want, they can't. Their everyday struggle is finding shelter, water, and whatever the situation that's going on. Is it their fault, those kids? Maybe they had bad parents, maybe a bad country. They were unlucky in that sense. So when you say they deserve, nobody deserves shit. The world does not owe you nothing. That's the sad reality. It's random mathematics. We got fucking lucky to find ourselves here today. And you should be grateful. And that's as far as it could go. Now, to say that, oh, yeah, I'm better or I'm this, and that, by all means,
I think you're putting the word deserve too much importance here. What's meant to say is you yourself, whatever your happiness is, you're allowed to feel happy. You're given the right yourself. Okay. I could choose to be happy. I could choose to do whatever I have to make myself happy.
But some people don't have that choice. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, they have the choice to be happy, but sometimes you look around and be like,
circumstances.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
alive.
No, but that's it. So again, at the end of the day, you could be happy for a moment. No problem there. But to be happy every day, no, I don't believe so.
But who said about it every day? We're saying
Because
that
happiness, if it's temporarily, so you're
Everything is temporary.
But
There's
that's what I'm
nothing
saying.
that is
So
permanent.
even anger is disappointment, stress, sadness, broken heart, affection, empathy,
But
whatever it is.
It's the acceptance of that actually brings a sense of peace. It is the acceptance that what you are feeling is valid. what you are feeling all the time is valid, and it is meant to be felt. It is not, like, you don't deserve to oppress your feelings. You deserve to feel them and let them flow, and accept when you're crying that it's okay to cry. And that's what I'm trying to say, because your circumstances can be extremely hard. You can come from a really hard background, and I've had the privilege, like I said, like we all said, to be here. And I feel so grateful to have been able to not have to wonder where my next meal will come from. I think that what I'm trying to say is not in accordance to your circumstances. Because of your circumstances, there's no hope for you. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think that's fair to tell people or to insinuate that regardless of where you're from, there's no hope for you.
No, but that's why I stuck on the word fair. Life is not fair.
It is not.
That's what I'm saying. So because you're saying it's not fair, and this is the same mentality when I always say good people always finish last. I'm good. So good things should happen to me. That's not how life works.
No, but I don't think that's actually. Because I think that it's like intention. Some people will think, but I had such good intention. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
no one gave.
The end of the day, if your intention was actually conscious, the outcome at the end, if it's 2 months from now or 10 years from now, will be good.
Oh no, that is so not true. Somebody's drowning. My intention is to save them, and I drown him. First thing they tell you, if you do not have any emergency background, do not go and help. My intention was come and help them. I made things worse. 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 months.
Why did you come and help them?
My intention was because they were in need of help.
But
I didn't have the experience.
Exactly.
But my intentions was good.
Okay, but
the repercussions were deadly.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
No, but you see what I'm saying? It's like in that sense. My intention was to kill a terrorist, and I killed 30 people. My intention was to kill a terrorist, but the collateral damage in 20 years, I'm still going to have PTSD, all these soldiers that are going to war for the good intention of security and for peace in the world.
Is it really good? That's what I'm trying to say.
They're good intentions. They're here to defend and protect their values, their family. They're afraid of the big boogie monsters.
They're afraid.
Country. They're afraid. But that's
exactly.
But their intentions are still good.
I don't believe that good intentions stem from fear. I believe good intentions stem from love. And okay. I think that
the drowning guy, let's go to the drowning. Forget about the military. Drowning guy, my intentions were good, to help him.
Your intentions were to help him.
Yes.
But you were helping him. Why? If you did not have the experience.
Yeah. And?
You're looking at a situation.
Mm-hmm. And my intention is to help them.
Your intention is to help them.
Yes.
But helping them, essentially, what would that actually look like? Within that moment, if you're present, drowning? you can understand what that can look like.
But that's where the intention came from. My intention was to save them. The end result was I killed them.
But what I'm saying is the intention was to save them. But were you in that kind of like, oh shit, I need to get to it now?
So and you're saying he was in fear of this
person dying. Because I think that essentially.
Continue.
I think that at the end of the day, we either do actions out of fear or out of love. And love is conscious. Love is, to me, the bettering of the world. And
I'll give you another example. And I'll give it to you, custom to you.
Okay.
My intentions today was to make the world discover you. I give you this platform.
Okay.
Like he gave an example. There's going to be trollers and there's going to be a lot of people out there, let's just say, talking shit about you. Yeah. And for whatever reason, God forbid, it hits you strong mentally and then you do something to hurt yourself. My intention was to share your positive message and energy. And there's people out there. How many times do you see it on social media? People are doing things out of the goodness of their heart and they're trying to think. And you have trollers and you have these people talking shit and then it affects you so much. And it was all out of a good place.
But
all
you
out
can
of
only
love.
Control
but,
you.
But,
you
but
can't
it's
control
not.
her.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean?
I can't control how. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if she comes on the pod and something happens to her, or she gets bullied they see her down. Oh, I saw you on Saint and Sinners podcast. Right? My intention was to share the message. Now I find out.
Yeah, but in her, I understood perfectly your dilemma. You're saying the outcome of what your good intention was it was going to harm her.
Yeah.
What
But-
she's saying,
and I'm gonna
though,
affect me.
you could only control your good intentions according to your own.
No, because she
perception.
said
you're
afterwards-
not doing. Whoever else is doing something.
Yeah.
Right. It's on them. It's their
Exactly.
actions
Okay,
on
so-
them. It's not on
Yeah.
her. How she perceives it at
It's
that
my-
point. It's she
my
owns
Fair
it.
enough.
responsibility.
So that comment is very much flawed because whatever intention you have is towards somebody. You cannot have intentions only towards you. Whatever action you're doing is going to have a ripple effect on your surrounding.
Yes.
So for you to have intention, it has to be towards something or somebody. You cannot eliminate the something in somebody all of a sudden. Oh, that's on them. That makes no sense. So you have no intention. Get what I'm saying or not?
the intent.
You cannot eliminate
I
the
do get
ripple
what you're
effect.
saying. I'm trying. Yes, but the problem is the ripple effect.
But that's
the problem
the
here.
intention.
No, the intention here. You said it yourself perfectly. Your intention was to bring to the world. This
So
is
it's
who
towards
I'm
something else, the
presenting.
ripple
It's
effect.
presenting somebody with information, presenting her with information
To
of-
other people.
To other people, right? That's your intention. It stays at that. That's what you've brought.
But if there is bad repercussions, I could feel guilty or feel bad, even though my intentions were good.
But that is allowing yourself to feel that way.
Yeah, but
But at the end of the day,
You
it's,
see how
no, but at the end of
okay.
the day, it is.
so you're saying not to
accepting.
feel now.
No, I'm saying to accept the feeling. If people start trolling me,
Yes.
I'm responsible for the way I feel about it.
But you
If
see
I-
how much will be
guilt, you will feel guilty.
I will feel
Guilty.
like my job is to a certain extent also protect you from because we understand what's gonna come if
You get what I'm saying or not? It's the repercussions. My intentions were
Yes.
good, but we don't live with intentions. We live with actions. If my intentions was to help you and then I break something, at the end of the day, it's the action that counts.
First of all, we don't know if that's gonna happen.
And
No,
but
but it's
it's
an example.
I'm
It's
just
an
saying,
even if
example.
people
Like,
troll me, even if people troll
Yeah.
me, and at the end of the day, people are mad at me and they're shitting
And you
on
become
me,
sick
I
because
will-
of all the
no,
negative energy.
I will gain from that. I will gain from the fact that
How?
people when
No,
people,
yeah, but
when,
it's,
no,
yeah,
but
it is possible.
it
It is a possibility. There is a
It is.
possibility
You-
too
you
that you get
grow.
depressed or you close your social media
Do you
or
believe
you
in
cry
depression?
or whatever it is. I'm not thinking about you. I'm thinking about other guests that came
but
here.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I think things happen for a reason. I got sick,
Things
and I
happen for a reason. Okay.
and I got sick, and I could barely do anything for almost 4 years,
okay.
and that was my biggest blessing. It made me realize so many things about myself, how important life is, and how time is not guaranteed, how health is
It
not
humbled you.
guaranteed. And so
That's the perfect word. In
I
this
could-
It
circumstance.
humbled you.
Humbled
But that's
Exactly.
good. Some
So-
people would have broke down and been depressed and
Your
complain
perspective
on
That's
my
it.
life,
has
me,
changed.
why
Exactly.
me?
You-
why-
everything's against me, I'm unlucky, blah, blah, blah.
You face fears because essentially these people talking or sending bad energy or like sending texts, it's essentially a result of their own
Insecurities.
fears and insecurities.
Oh, but I'm not caring about them.
But that's the thing. If you're not caring about them, it's recognizing that. And so them sending in those messages has nothing to do with me. And so for me to let it affect me is not like would be me taking that energy and making it
Again,
bigger.
you're taking this about you. Let's just say it does affect you. It happened to other people that came on the spot.
But if it affects them, they'll have to go through that emotion.
Or they go through depression, or they gain weight, or whatever it is.
It could hit.
Not everybody
It-
has a happy
yes.
ending.
No,
Not
but
everybody sees the rainbow at the end of the road.
But I think that yes. Okay, go ahead.
No, but that's what I mean by that. Some people do not reach.
But you're proving her point. Her point is, this is what you should do to be able.
No,
to
but
be
you're talking about
happy.
the other person. But if I'm responsible in one way or the other, that's where she said eventually you'll
But
see the
you're
positive.
not responsible for somebody else's actions.
Yes, I am. Of course I am. Of course I am. If I have an addict in front of me and I put a glass in front of him, I am responsible.
Your intention was to put a glass in
No,
front of
no.
him?
I
'Cause
have
you
to
wanted
pay.
to harm
I have
him?
to, I have to pay. If you have allergies, deadly allergies, as much as it wasn't my intention, I have to be responsible. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but we're responsible for everything. It's just we can't care about everything.
Fair enough. So you see right there, we'll agree upon. But that means, but the reason...
Finally, we agree.
No, but because the thing is, I agree with most of the things you say. I just don't agree with your wording. Because you give it this little la land of a...
It comes
This
out like
artsy
this
environment.
artsy, like, yeah, everything's going to be fine. But that's not life. I've seen, again, I don't know what you lived through, but I've seen situations where it was really unfair. And,
I've been into a situation
exactly.
where
You know what I mean? In that sense, in life, if you're going to go through life, I have 2 older kids. If I'm not going to teach them your mentality, they're going to be disappointed. They're going to be eaten alive. If you survive this long, I don't know if it's because it's a miracle, you're strong, or you're lucky. Either or, you are the exception, you are not the rule. People like you in today's society will be chewed and destroyed.
But I think that is not because we as individuals are weak. It's because our society does not actually sustain a life that is promoting self-development and well-being.
It's survival of the fittest.
We are living in a toxic society.
We've always lived in a toxic society. It's never been a generation in the history of humanity that we weren't in a toxic situation. The toxicity just changed. There was slavery a couple of 100 years ago. There were people that used to beat up or just take people's lands. Like I said, there has never been. We just choose our toxic.
it's actually the best time to
Exactly. Right now is the best time because
I don't
now
think so.
rules actually, the small guy has a bigger chance of making it than before. Before you had no chance. If you were born in poverty, you will remain in poverty. Your kids will be in poverty. Today, you have a higher chance. Before maybe 1%, now it's at least 20%. And again, I'm not saying rich, wealthy, comfortable. Before, you would die at 22 years old, trying to make it. You know what I mean? People would have kids in a million, like the technology and evolution, as much as we can shit on it, because it's never going to be perfect, still gives us opportunities and helps us medicine, transportation, whatever you want. Doing this podcast. Could have never done this 100 years ago. Could have not even done this 20 years ago. See what I'm saying? Like at the end, I have to see the blessing. I can point out the negative. People that stay too much on their phone or the dopamine of likes and follows and all that bullshit. I get it, 100%. But at the end of the day, we live longer. We have more opportunities. We have more resources. As much as they're transformed and there's side effects and stuff like that, we're still living until the age of 85. Not even 100 years ago, we were dying at 40.
I don't see where you're going with this, though. Like, where does
Meaning,
that have
no, because
to go?
she said now we're living in a toxic world. But I'm saying we're not that toxic. If you compare it to before, we're actually less toxic.
No,
Why?
but it depends.
Why would you say
it
that? You don't think
depends.
people are not more critical now? How you perceived, like, we're talking when
But
we
here
were
you're
22,
bombarded
23.
because you got it every.
Let her finish her thought. Go ahead.
Like from 23, like when they were 23, they died right before. They're living in. You could agree that they lived more in the moment before than they did.
No, they didn't.
That we do now.
They had to work from sunrise to sunset.
That doesn't mean that they're not living in the moment or accepting their reality of the situation at that moment.
self-slaves. They had no opportunity to spend time with their kids. Parents never saw their kids. Never. That's why a kid was raised by the village.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. What is your definition of success then?
That's a very personal to each. That's what I meant by
But no,
that.
but your answer to 23 years ago that they couldn't be happy. You went straight to they weren't happy for sure.
No,
They
it's
weren't
only
happy
a
because you're
small-
assuming
I'm not assuming.
that it was in regards to success. That's what I'm understanding from what you're saying.
No. Their happiness was they didn't have time to. Okay, so from her definition of living the moment, right? The peace and everything, they had no peace.
I disagree with that.
Okay, tell me what period in time where people had peace.
Egyptian time.
Oh
you seen
my God, okay.
Have you seen the art in Egyptian time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they used to take psychedelics. They had a lot of rituals, all
Yes.
of those things.
And then
Rich,
a lot
the rich people. Huh? Let's
And
not
a lot of
forget the
slaves.
1%, because those pyramids weren't made by rituals and psychedelics. It was by slaves and enslaving other people.
Okay.
And 1% of the whole population through the 1st to the 9th dynasty of Egypt owned the whole land.
Okay. So I'll give you another example.
Please
so
do.
that you won't be.
No, I'm not. Won't be. These are
in the-
facts. These
No,
are
but
facts,
I
sadly.
know,
I
but-
have
And
to
you
but
say-
see
the
the
thing
difference
is-
nowadays in Western society. We are the 1% where other countries.
Yeah, but the
actually-
1% now is not 1% anymore. It's 20 to like the average, like the middle class.
That's what I said. Here,
Yeah.
just for the mere fact of born in United States, Canada, or Europe, you the 1%.
Yeah, for the rest of the world type of thing.
Yeah.
But go ahead, give me another example, please.
Honestly, I'm losing my train of
Yeah.
thought. I'm like,
No, you said you're going to
I'm
find a
getting
civilization
We're going
somewhere
to-
in time where people, because you were talking about art. I'm not degrading the Greeks, the beautiful arts and philosophy and everything that they created, but to what cost? There's bloods on their hand. There was wars every 5 minutes.
no, it's the idea of success. Okay, I'm sorry.
okay, we're back to success. Okay.
No, it's just that like we're
Yeah,
going
we
so many
everywhere.
places
Welcome to
that I'm
Saint and
like,
Sinners podcast.
what?
No, I'm sorry.
So-
It was my fault.
No, it's okay. It's just for the idea of success. Essentially, where I wanted to go is that success. We often have this idea that success looks a certain way.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
You're talking about the Western world again.
Yes, but even when that is what I'm saying. It's here we have that mentality.
But
that
here is not the
success-
world.
I know, but right now I'm okay. I get what
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
taking. So how many
But-
people
but-
is there in North America? If you take the United States and
Yes.
Canada, we're talking about 634 million people. How much are people on this planet? 7 billion.
Yeah.
The rest of the philosophy, Japanese philosophy, Indian philosophies, South African philosophy,
Yes.
South American have different.
Yes.
Success is very personal. I know
Yes.
people just having a roof over their head and
right.
food on the table
Yes.
with their family is the biggest success.
Yes.
Other
Right.
people is fucking 12 Lamborghinis if they want.
Yeah.
Whatever, each their own. Other ones is the OnlyFans account. Other one is a celebrity. Other one, whatever. I don't care. As long as it does not affect or you step on somebody else to succeed. I could care less.
But the minute you have 12 Lamborghinis,
Yes.
let's face it, you do step on other people.
Why?
You don't know that. You don't know. Now you
And-
become
and-
judgmental on the other side.
Okay, but
John
but-
Bezos
but-
won
but
Amazon. What did he
but
crush?
what I mean by that, it's not. Yeah, you're right.
Right? You understand what
No,
I'm trying
no,
to say?
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's only that. I
no.
completely agree with you, by the way, at
No, but-
100%. Chances are yes, but
This
you
is what I
can't
mean.
be
You talk in
non-
absolutes.
Yeah,
like,
you
but-
can't be
but-
judgmental on one way and not judgmental on the other.
You're right. I did not. That wasn't very considerate of myself. But it's true. It's
No,
true.
I agree. I agree.
I think that
The way you said it was funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like your energy.
You human.
I really do, by the way. I'm not even being sarcastic.
Okay.
I just feel like I have the duty to give you a reality check.
No,
As a
but
father,
look,
I feel like
I
you know,
just think you're bringing it to a different level, however, to bring it back, okay? Yes, I get that you're a father and there's a worry behind it, but I do think there's a valid point by saying that whatever your success is or whatever you think success is, when it stems to happiness, whatever your happiness might be, there's a state of mind that you're going to feel to bring you to that point. It doesn't mean that you're going to be happy constantly at 100%, but how you interpret what you're feeling at that particular moment, you could choose to stay in that moment or you could choose to move on, pass on, and go through it, like step forward from it.
So I agree with
right?
you until
She's saying the exact same thing.
I
from there.
agree with you until you use the word choose. And that's where I have an issue. Happiness is a moment that you can see or feel, but you cannot hold on to. You do not choose.
No, I'm saying you're choosing in the moments of hard times to go back to it. That's what the difference is. Happiness, you're not choosing, okay? But you could. Oh, no, actually, I'm thinking. I'm saying. I take that back. You're choosing happiness.
I think
I've
you
gone
choose,
through.
yeah.
So I've gone through enough in my life, or a lot in my life. And every period of my life, everybody's always told me the same thing. Rosie, you're one of the most optimist people I've ever met. You could call me optimist. You could call me naive. You could call me irrealistic. It doesn't matter. I'm facing it. I have to go through it. While I'm going through it, I'm learning from it. There's something that I've learned from it. I had to go through it at that moment. And you move on. The next day, you're going to see me, or next day, or a month, or whatever it takes me to get over that period. I'm going to go back to being happy again. I'm going to go find what's going to make me get through that period and choose my own source of happiness.
It's called pursuit of happiness.
So pursuit of happiness.
But it's
call
a
it.
pursuit. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you can't stay. But you're
But that's
telling
it.
me-
It's constantly every day. Even if I put it in a sport metaphor, you win a game today, you are at your best today. The next game, nothing is promised. You could be unlucky, you could be just off, you could be stuff like that, but it's okay. You can have a positive mind and say, I'll get it next time.
So you feel it.
But I don't
You
choose to, I lost, but I'm going to be, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. You give yourself
You choose compassion.
Yeah, and you choose if you want it to affect you or not.
You choose whether or not you want to give yourself compassion.
Yeah, that I will agree with you. That I 100% agree with you.
And so I think, yes.
That 100% you choose compassion.
Yeah.
But that remains in the realism world, right? Because choosing happiness in an unhappy moment makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think that when you're taking that moment and you're facing and you're feeling sad, it is accepting it so that you know that in the long term you are choosing yourself.
Yeah, but you have to embrace
you're gonna
that.
get over it at that point, right? Like,
But that's why you embrace it. I'm having a bad moment, but I'm going to work towards a better moment.
Exactly.
Right.
That I
That's
agree
what
with.
we're saying.
But this happiness of maintaining happiness.
good.
No, but we agree. It was me, just the fact that you choose. You do not choose. You can choose to try again, but you can't choose to be. Get what I'm saying?
Yes, you can choose to be.
To be happy in an unhappy moment.
No, but
You could choose to be better.
No, but it's not. But choosing to be happy is not being. Being is being in that moment to actually feel the energy around you and understand how you want to communicate with it. It is communicating with your environment in that moment. So it's when we were talking about meditation, it's following your breath, feeling the moment around you and the energy around you. That is the state of being. But to choose happiness when there isn't happiness is not being. It is escaping to something and that is not there.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. No, but I'll take it. It comes back to the same thing that I meant, that you could work harder towards it the next day or whatever. But at this moment, it's not working. I acknowledge it.
Right.
And then I'm like, I'll do better tomorrow. I'll do better later, whatever it is. But it's the acknowledging part. That's the most important part.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
So and can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Finally, we got it.
Yeah, just
and there is no civilization that's just putting it, just to conclude the plot there is no civilization in the past where everything
Could not let that one go. Like
because if she was looking.
I don't know if, like, at the end of the day, we weren't in those times. So to determine the state of consciousness and aware, I don't believe that we are the most evolved we've ever been. I do not believe it.
Based on what? What's your criteria to determine if we're evolved or not?
Exactly. It's the thing that
not exactly. I'm asking you a question.
It's a cycle. No, but it's a cycle. So essentially, we might on a physical realm, we have, from what we know, we have never had an environment where we can control it like we do right now. Having all the resources, having access to physical material goods.
Okay.
If we look at our planet on an emotional level, I believe that we are not the most evolved we've ever been.
I think this is a different podcast altogether because it brings to the conspiracy, like not conspiracy theories, but it brings to a different level of
laser people.
Are we gonna reset? This is what's happening right now. This is where it's going. Like that's where it's gonna go. This conversation right now.
Yeah, it's in my book.
Right.
It's actually in my.
Talking about your book.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. What's the title of the first book?
The first book is My Camino: Live in Love or Live in Fear.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
It's on Amazon, and on the white title, the author, it's Claudia.
Claudia Dorey, Dorey. Yeah. And the second one is The World Within. But honestly, I will give you a copy of that book, and I would love to actually. I would love to actually get your feedback on it.
I'm sure I would love it.
I think we should talk about the book even more next time on our next podcast.
I feel like we should all read it.
That's it. Then it's gonna be
November 5th, you said, right?
Yeah.
November 5th.
And
Done.
I don't want you to give it to me. I want to buy it.
Yeah,
that's how it helps you.
Thank you.
That's how you're going to pay your ticket to Japan.
You should post exactly what it is. We're gonna
And
write
I
it,
want
the
a
link.
piece of your art too. I'm a big collector of local art.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, amazing.
Where
Yeah.
can we see your art?
Well,
Website.
on my website, I also have like a personal portfolio that I can just send you with the available
We
pieces.
want everybody else to buy
Yes.
too. So
Well, so I have it on my Instagram. You can follow my link to my website. If not, I do shows. In now before leaving for Japan, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any shows just because it's very like limited time. I'm leaving in 2 months. But yeah, I'm working on a new collection as well because my last one almost sold out. So I'm so I'm
Congrats.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm really looking to create more pieces that are painting and before my last collection were drawings. And they all come with descriptions, with philosophy, and then so you can have a read, and you can. But my book, at the beginning of my book, what I say, it's you create your own world, you create your own art from it. So there are like sections where it's blank pages where you can just write through it and say what you don't agree with, what you agree with, like really.
I think I'll need more than a page.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll write a whole book.
Yeah, there you go. No, but for me, that's what's really important. It's that what I'm saying, people don't have to take it and be like, oh yeah, okay, you know what? I 100% agree with you. What I want is people to listen to this and be like, this is why I don't believe this. And be able to actually build more on what I've said or another person has said. And that's what life is about. It's about growing and to be able to really bring more into the world and share with the world. So if I'm sharing this right now, it's going to cause controversy, but that's what's great. You want to start the conversation. Exactly, because starting a conversation is allowing us to grow.
And you have the right place to create controversy. So.
Exactly.
And just about the listeners know me already. I'm very devil's advocate on everything. So it was out of love.
He was more devil.
No.
Advocate, but
Yeah, but she was too pure and loving and rainbows and shit. I had to bring this back to earth.
No, but it was all out of love. I know sometimes it feels like we attacked, but he's attacked, so...
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but it's a fatherly love. It's really not that. Thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This was really fun.
It
We should do
was,
this more often.
No.
Be prepared next time with history.
Yeah, because we
She
want
did great, though.
I want to read your book and criticize your book, honestly.
Yeah, but I would love
Criticize.
No, but to be honest,
Study, analyze. Why negative?
But written,
Criticism is not always negative.
because now, honestly, I was kind of like,
the
my
subject
senses
was going
were
all over.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
the energy here.
I had difficulty actually like processing and redirecting.
You're the problem.
So in my book,
You should have asked for 2 minutes to meditate or something.
honestly, on my way here, I was actually meditating.
You didn't meditate enough. You ain't ready.
For the next time, now she understands the
Next
podcast.
time, I'm gonna come in with clear mind, clear thoughts, clear communication.
We'll leave him home, okay? We're good.
Challenge accepted.
You can even bring someone else, so there's 2 versus 1, so he'd be happy.
It's not verses. I'm just curious.
No, yeah.
I really like to pick her brain.
Yeah.
I find it very fascinating. Honestly, find it very beautiful. Not realistic, like I said, but I find it beautiful, and I find it in a positive way that people like you still exist. So that's why I was like, let me shake her a bit, see how deep do her beliefs go.
Can I leave you with one question?
Yes, please.
Just why wouldn't it be realistic? Think about it.
No,
On
no
a
need to
long
think
term?
about it.
Okay. Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
no.
Okay.
My thought process, because this is not the first time I have a conversation like this.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what's realistic? Your way of, this is where I meant you're naive a bit. You're painting, you're an artist. You see the beauty in things where sometimes they're not. There is sadness, there's happiness, there's justice, there's injustice. It's balance. Yes. And the way I perceived it at the beginning, it was you were trying to, it's just your choice to, take all the positive and put the fear out, and everything you act, if it's not that way, it's out of fear. So you have to remove it like it's a filter.
That's essentially exactly not what I'm trying to do. What I'm
That's
trying
what I
to do is
understood.
finding beauty, even whether it's accepting the fact that there is unbeautiful things. When I was sick, it wasn't beautiful. It was fucking hard. Like, let's face it. It was challenging. But taking that challenge and actually growing from it, that is what is beautiful. It is recognizing that we are responsible for things, how we react and how we act towards things.
Right.
And so
100% agree with you.
So what I'm saying is not the world, now is beautiful, and I'm not going to see what's ugly about it. Because if I do that, I'm not actually seeing the world for what it is.
Not necessarily. This is where I was going to say, but like if I take your example of your story, you're taking it from a perspective that you've went through the hump. While you're going through it. No, but there's other humps. Meaning that there was a happy ending, right? You're writing books, you're an artist, you travel the world and stuff like that. But while you were sick, while you were in those moments, while you were injured, you know what I mean? Like you had to confront that reality.
Yeah.
So it's okay to talk about it after it's all well and done, but not everybody has that happy ending. Some people, like I said, in your case probably, would have lost a leg. The bacteria, the parasite you were saying about, and then I got infected. How many stories do we hear these travelers go on backpacks and they were like, oh yeah, happy, love, peace, everything's okay. There was the 2 people that got killed, the husband and wife by
And a bicycle in Kazakhstan or something.
Kazakhstan. They were all happy. They were doing from East Asia all the way to Europe. And they were traveling and camping, and 2 people followed them. It was in India where they died.
Yeah,
It was Indians.
it was in India. 'Cause I was in Nepal, and they told me, "Don't go to India. Don't go to India." And I was
Did
like,
you go to India after?
"No, I'm going to India though."
But you see what I'm saying? They didn't have their happy ending.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I mean by that. Like, it's okay once you survived it, you're like, yes, this is like when you wrote your book after you did your journey,
Yeah.
I find that amazing, right? But somebody that's going through that journey has to still go through that journey. Goggins is the same thing. He would have never written that book if he would have died in that marathon. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's okay out of comfort. Once all is done, you're like, okay, woof, now I can breathe. Now I can enjoy my hardships and my good moments because I'm out of the storm. But while you're in the storm, you're surviving.
Yes.
You don't have time to see the beauty of the lightning. Oh, lightning just hit me next to me. That was amazing. No. You know what I mean? No, you can't. You have to survive. You have to run, whatever. And then you're like, wow, that was fucking amazing. Like, I almost thought I was going to die. My heart is pumping. It makes me feel alive. And yet, there was some sunshine after the end. That's what I meant. I'm very realistic as a person.
But I think it's not realistic how you're saying it. I get what you're trying to say, but it's not realistic how you're saying it.
So how would you say it, Rosie?
No. Because
No,
you're bringing it
please.
to an extreme. What she's bringing is while you're going through that, that's all that said is while you're going through that, allow yourself to feel it. It's okay. You're going to feel it.
Exactly.
Do
Yeah,
what
but
you
not
gotta
everybody.
do.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
Right?
Some people don't survive that feeling. That's what I
That's what
mean.
she's trying and voice tonight. Okay, not survive at the end. You mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
'cause there's
saying.
a-
Yeah, whatever
at
it
the
is. They
end
go
of
through
the
depression,
day-
addiction. They go through suicides. I know people that committed suicide last year. You would have looked at this guy. This guy had it all and everything, always smiling, always trying to
And
be
you
positive.
don't think that there could be is it that he was really trying to be positive though?
I have no
through
idea.
it?
I'm
But
not-
that's what it is.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's
Some
what
people
we're
lie to
saying,
themselves.
though.
Some people deny it. Some people put it on the side.
But
We do not know.
exactly.
That's exactly what she's
But
saying.
because
what she's-
life affects you. It's not all
It
about
does.
you. He had a kid. He had a wife. He had a new house. He had more expenses. He had a
and
lot of
shit happens. Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it.
And he did not survive at the end.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Right,
When
but
you
did he
sh-
not? Go ahead.
When you show up for yourself, you can show up for other people a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
And so what I'm trying to say is when there are hard times, if you don't show up for yourself, you will not get out of those hard times.
No, but that's what I mean. I agree with you, but it's not as easily.
It's not easy.
That's what I meant.
But that is the quest of the world, the quest of all individuals.
And that's
is
why I
to
don't
be
agree. I don't
able-
think it's necessarily a quest. So not everybody needs to be in
but
a
it's
happy,
not
gully place.
necessarily. But that's why I think we live in a reincarnation.
That's another, again.
I know, but
I'm
it's
not going to
just
go
that
through
we
that
are
cycle
not.
again.
But just that's why I believe that all lives will bring a lesson and will allow some form of.
So I'm probably
growth.
at the beginning of my lesson. I'm going to be reincarnated a couple 20 times before I
Maybe.
reach that. Yeah, definitely.
No, but
I'm at the beginning. You're probably at the end. That's why you're living through. Yeah, I got this. That's
seen
why
that
you
before.
unlock new abilities. I don't have enough experience in this.
what I'm trying to say.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying with the logic of that would probably mean I'm at the beginning of my.
But I
journey.
think that it's just everyone is just deserving of that. It's just not everyone is either accepting that they can deserve those things and that they even recognize. But vulnerability is a powerful tool. And I'm just saying that we all deserve to feel vulnerable and to feel as though we can share, because loneliness is essentially not being vulnerable. Loneliness is not being able to see yourself so the world can't see you either.
Yeah, are you vulnerable?
But-
What is that? Do I have time to be vulnerable? I don't have time to be vulnerable. Not right now. I'm also on my journey, okay? because I'm not vulnerable. That's what I do steps and I do things. You know.
That's where I say, because again, if you don't believe in reincarnation, I just believe it's cultural in his case, right? He doesn't have time. For him, life is about providing and surviving. Simple as that. And he will find pleasure and fun and purpose in those things. It's like having a pebble in your pocket and saying it's a diamond. As long as you're happy with that idea, why the fuck would you care if it's not?
Yeah.
Right? So you create that concept. And now, trying to have a universal definition of what that is, that's where the issue comes.
But that is what society is in the physical form. What I'm saying is you feel it in your own way, and that is what is valid. But to tell somebody, I met somebody when I was in Tiout, Morocco.
Oh boy.
He was
He didn't rob you?
No, not at all. Very kind man. And we sat together for 5 hours. I just met him. I ended up there. I don't even really know how. We ended up sitting one next to the other. And he looked at me and he said, I don't have a phone. I just got a radio. And he was like, and I don't want your life.
Okay.
I can understand.
Yeah. And I said, that's very valid. And I said, and he said, people in the Western world are always fucking running. But I might not eat as much food, or I might go hungry at night certain days. But he said, at least I'm not running for an idea, because I can just sit and see the world and see how beautiful it is from my own chair. And he said, and you guys are out there running towards pretty much oftentimes towards things you don't even care about. You just think you care about, or what society tells you should care about. And I looked at him and I said, well, now I'm saying it also with my words because he didn't elaborate that much. But essentially,
but
it's so pretty.
Yeah.
But the accent too.
Yeah.
Ma fille, je te le dis. Oulala hadem. Ma vie est tranquille. Shoya.
No, but like at the end of the day, that was like what he was saying, and it is true, and I do agree with that.
And it's true for him and for you.
But
I had another guy tell me, fuck all the women in your world. You only have one life to live. Again,
That made him happy.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's like,
You know what I mean?
everybody's the
That's what it is.
philosopher in their
Someone
own
told you
right.
that?
But
I
we're
swear
not
to God.
denying that.
But
That's
we're
good for
not
him.
denying that. What I'm just saying is that in the Western world, we often have an idea that like, oh, if you don't live this certain way, you can't be happy. And
But that's what I was saying through the whole thing.
yeah,
when I was
well,
saying the
me
Western
too.
world.
But that's also what I was trying to say.
But that
when
is cultural. That is not necessarily truth or whatever. It's cultural. Because you have to understand the Western world is a younger world than Asia and Africa and South America.
Yeah.
So when they came to civilization, they were like, oh shit, for me to survive, I have to surpass people for survival reasons. So they created guns, whatever, technology came as it came. Now there's benefits, there's bad things. Simple people in Africa right now, living in huts, drinking water from the natural source and stuff like that, that's beautiful. They don't know anything better, and they're super like this mister here. But I can give you 20 other Moroccans that wear too much perfume, that drive cars they cannot afford, trying to act and look better for the people that are looking at them. Because that's a very common North African thing.
But it's something we do here all the
Even
time
us.
as well.
Yeah. Huh?
But that we do that here.
But
in
it's very
Canada as
different.
well.
It's very different.
It's very different, but it still remains with the essence of trying to fit in, trying to follow a standard, regardless of what the standard is. It's we tell people you need to enter this box, and this is what this box looks like, and so we don't tell them how it should feel, but people think that, oh, once I'm gonna get that box, I'll know how it feels and I'll know what real happiness is. But people get to that box and they realize, oh shit, maybe this isn't actually what brings me happiness. And so they realize that they've been determining their value and their person on a concept that was created for them, and realize once they enter that box, do I actually know who I am? And what will actually make me happy as an individual? And
Okay. No, I get it. So can I ask you one final question? Are you happy?
I am actually very
With the cutest smile.
And on that note,